Okay, fifth graders, this is 7-12. Yesterday's video, I think I'd written 712 on it, but this one actually is. So this is page, what page are we on? 314. Wrapping up chapter 7 here. It says using a bar diagram to represent a problem. So this first example here, that's what they're showing you. And so I'm not going to go into the details of this. You can look it over yourself. Basically, they use a bar diagram here in C to represent the problem. And in the convince me, though, they ask, it says, how many more cups of ingredients could still fit in the bowl? And it's used to use a bar diagram and an equation to represent the problem. So if I was to draw a bar diagram, I can click on this and make myself a bar right there. So the total is 4 cups. So 4 cups. That's what this whole thing right here represents, 4 cups. And let's see, it's going to be 4. It says write an equation here, so it's going to be 4 subtracting. Well, actually, I'm not going to write it in the bar diagram. I'll write it right below it here. It's going to be 4 subtract 3 1/2 cups. And so I could represent 3 1/2 cups right here, and I could just put 3 1/2. And I'll put a question mark here because we don't know what's left. So this whole bar is 4 cups, and we're using 3 1/2, and we don't know what's going to be left over. Some of you might intuitively know. I mean, you can just look at it and realize, well, another half would be a total of 4. But anyways, that's how you could answer the convince me right there. Pretty easy. Guided practice. Let's look at this a little bit. It says Philip wants to run a total of 3 miles each day. Monday morning, he ran 1 7/8. How many more miles does he need to run? And it says, again, draw a bar diagram to represent the problem. So here's my bar. Okay, and 1 7/8. That's almost 2 miles. So if he's got to run 3, so this right here, from here to here, this represents 3 miles total. And he's ran 1 7/8. So I don't know. So it's going to be about 2 of the 3 miles. So I don't know, maybe right about here. And so this would be 1 7/8 of a mile. And then we're not quite sure how much he has left to run. Then it says, write and solve an equation for this problem. How did you find the solution? Well, I think I'm going to let you guys do 2 and 3 on your own. So you need to find the difference between 3 miles and 1 7/8. So in 2, you can write the equation, what you're going to subtract from what, and then number 3, of course, would be the answer. All right. Let's see here, independent practice. It says a landscaper used 2 1/2 tons of sunburst pebbles. Let's see here, 3 1/4 ton of black polished pebbles, and then finally 5/8 of a ton of river pebbles. Okay, what's the total weight of the pebbles? Oh, well, that's kind of easy. What are you going to be doing? You're going to be adding up each one of those. So I'll just put 2 1/2 and 3 1/4. And then 5/8. So we're going to add those up. Now, I don't know that we've done any where you're actually adding 3 fractions, but it's treated the same way. You still need to find a common denominator. So between 2 and 4 and 8, those are the denominators we have to concern ourselves with. We need to come up with a number that all 3 of those numbers would go into. And the answer would be 8. 2 goes into 8 evenly, 4 goes into 8 evenly, and 8 goes into 8 evenly. And let's see here. It says draw a diagram and write an equation to represent the problem. Well, okay, so that's kind of an equation. Well, I don't know if it is or not. Actually, probably not. So an equation might be 2.5 plus 3 1/4 plus 5/8, okay, equals. That would be an equation, because an equation has an equal sign. This would be an addition problem. I don't think you could call it an equation. So I correct myself there. So anyways, there's the equation. And it says draw a bar diagram. So, okay, we could do that. I'll draw my bar here. And let's see here. Well, I guess, yeah, I don't know, 2.5, 2 1/2, and then what's the next one? 3 1/4. So it's going to be a little bit larger. 3 1/4, and then what's this last one? 5/8. I probably should have made that 5/8 smaller, but there you go. There's our bar diagram. All right. Then it says solve the equation for 5. What fraction computations did you do? Well, if you wrote down what I wrote there, you could just point to that. And then finally, number 6, how many tons of pebbles did the landscaper use? Well, that's going to be the total when you actually do the calculations and figure out what the total of all 3 of those fractions are. That'd be the answer to that one. Okay, last page here, problem solving. And then after this, it's going to be review for Chapter 7, which we'll kick into next week, and then actually take the Chapter 7 test. So let's see here. It says, during a 6-hour session at day camp, Roland participated in boating, hiking, and lunch. The rest of the session time was free. How much time did Roland spend on the 3 activities? All right, so what are the 3 activities that he did? Let's see here. Boating, hiking, and lunch. So there's boating, there's hiking, and there's lunch. And then they ask us, let's see here, how much time did he spend on each of the activities? Looks like 2.5, 1 1/4, and 1.5. And the rest of the session was free time. How much time did Roland spend on the 3 activities? Well, you're going to add all 3 of them up. And number 7, so they're kind of walking you through this here. What do you know and what do you need to find? Well, you can explain what you know by looking at this particular graph and the information they gave us. And then it says, what do you need to find? Well, what questions did they ask? How much free time did he have? And how much time did Roland spend on the 3 activities? That's what you need to find. Okay. Number 8, describe the quantities and operations you will use to find how much time. Okay, which quantities and operations will you use? Oh, well, basically, how are you going to solve it? Just describe how you're going to solve it. Oh my gosh, they make these so difficult. All right, just explain how you solved it. Explain how you solved it. Just do that. Oh my gosh. They make it so much more difficult than it needs to be, it seems like. Finally, it says draw a diagram and use an equation to help you find how much time Roland spent on the activities. Well, okay, so if you're going to, I suppose we could draw another bar diagram and then put in the 3 different activities and, split this up into 3 parts. And some will be larger than others because he would have spent more time on those. And then, of course, figure out how much free time he had. All right. That's it. Let's see here. How much time did he have? I wonder if you'd end up having to kind of looking to see how much free time. Oh, there it is. That's what I was looking for. I was kind of confused about that. I don't know if you guys missed that like I did. The very beginning, during a 6-hour session. So he had 6 hours. I'm going to put that in there. 6 hours total, not hours. H-O-U-R-S. There we go. 6 hours. So we had 6 hours. All right. And then once you total those 3 activities, subtract that from 6, and then that will tell you how much free time you had. Okay, that's it. And I will see you guys tomorrow.